All right, U.S. history students. So here's the deal. After we get into the later part of the 1800s, we get these two groups. Where's my camera? Two groups that are going to form on the European continent. And these two you need to be aware of. So one of them, called the Triple Alliance, is going to include those red countries on the map on your screen. Let me actually go full screen a minute, sorry. Which are Germany, Austria, Hungary, and Italy. Now, these countries also, when the war starts, will be called the Central Powers. And hopefully that makes sense again if you're looking at the map, right? These are the nations in the center of Europe. Germany will end up being the major player that has to do kind of the bulk and brunt of the fighting. And we'll talk more about that as this unit unfolds. But those are the Triple Alliance nations as we go into the First World War. The blue nations are the Triple Entente, which is Great Britain, France, and Russia. And again, you can see by the map, and if we were in class and interactive, we could have this discussion a little more. But those central powers, while maybe it's easier for them to communicate, etc., they're also going to have to fight a two-front war, right? Everything, manpower, material power, resources get split in two directions for the bulk of the war, which will be a big deal. And it puts you in a tough spot, obviously, when you have to split your resources and manpower. More on that to come down the road. So the A, Triple Alliance, Triple Entente. We have an alliance system in Europe that's pitting three of the major players versus three of the other major players in the European continent. And so this alliance system, if I was going to star one, this would be the one that's going to cause a disagreement between a few to pull up and blow up into a disagreement and fight between basically the whole continent. Now, the I we actually talked about at the beginning of this unit from a U.S. perspective, right? Imperialism, turn of the century, early 1900s, the U.S. is going out and gaining an empire. And when we talked about it, we said the Caribbean Sea is where the U.S. focuses and those Pacific Island areas that we looked at on the map. And so Europe's doing the same thing, actually even a little sooner than the US, but they're going to do it in places like Asia and, as you can see on the map, Africa. And not that you have to memorize any of this, but if you just see kind of the key in the continent here, it's pretty carved up from something called the Berlin Conference in the 1880s. And so there's tension about who gets what, right? Things underlying, again, causing tension between these European powers. And I put over here on the side of the screen what happens when two people or two groups want one thing, right? Something that only one person can have. Two sports teams, one team gets to win. Two boys want the same girlfriend. There's only one to go around, right? And so that sometimes can cause conflict and tension. And so that's really what's happening when the imperialism thing. Another really good way to think of it, I have two words up top there, but colonialism, competition, cause conflict, right? Again, when only one thing exists and two or more people want it, there's going to be tension. If I want a job and somebody else wants the same job, there's only one job, right? And that may cause me to resent that person, not like that person, etc. At least cause tension maybe between us. And so imperialism is causing competition, which is causing and leading to conflict or tension between European powers. Hopefully that part's review, right? Why do European nations want an empire or imperialism? Same reasons we do. Resources, wealth, land, raw materials, building an empire. Those things don't change whether we're talking about U.S. empire building or European empire building. And then, no, that's not my wife and I down at the bottom of the screen. I have a little more hair than that, maybe. And so they also section off, I don't have a map of it, places in Asia and dispute territory there, etc. And so that rush for territories is sparking numerous disagreements over boundaries and who controls what. Okay, so the I in Maine, imperialism, colonialism causes competition, causes conflict. We'll start with the N next because I'm down to like 30 seconds on my recording. So stay tuned. One more part, I promise. I'll be quick, maybe. N coming at you next.